All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the American Dream podcast. My name is Daniel Bischoff, and I'm here with
Mario Lopez.
and today we're recording episode 7. And we're going to dive into a little bit of current events right now. First of all, before we get into that, we're going to talk a little bit about the last couple of weeks. Basically, I've been pretty busy working a lot on the tennis court and off the tennis court. And I've been enjoying, and I almost feel like I'm on a grind, which is a good feeling, mainly because I've always, after college, I've always been thinking about myself as a person that's always trying to work hard and be consistent, and not be lazy and spending time at home doing nothing. So even just this past week, I spent a lot of hours on the court teaching. I didn't get the opportunity to spend more time playing tennis for myself and getting better and getting a good workout, but that is something that's on my mind for the next couple of weeks. Do you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about how your last couple of weeks or this past weekend or past week has been, Mario?
Yeah, so usually like in afternoons I don't do much. I end up editing some of the time. Sometimes I spread it out throughout the days, and that way I don't get like bored of doing it.
Right.
But then I figured out ways to do it a little bit faster, and recently I did the episode 4 and 5. So I did 4 one day and then 5 the next day. But then since we didn't record one day, so it didn't really matter. So one still got released this week, and then another one's going to get released in a few days. And that way it feels like we really haven't missed a week.
Yeah.
But as far as like other stuff, I started the process of purchasing a home. So right now I got pre-qualified, and then I'm basically just starting to look for homes in general.
Right.
We found one, but my offer was like the third best that I put, and then some other guys put more, and but we are kind of like in a backup situation.
Okay.
So if something happens with them, then we go in, and then from there, it's just like, what is it? It would just be like as if we were already like some kind of like contenders.
Okay.
So we would just go in, instead of, because what they usually do is whenever you have someone that you're trying to negotiate like a contract with to buy the house, if things don't work out, then what they do is do like another open house or put it up on the internet again, so that way people can go and look at it and then get new offers. But in this situation, they're not going to do that. They're just going to contact us directly. And then we start negotiating or beginning basically the process. So I already put like a 1,000 kind of like, it's not a deposit, but it's something that sort of guarantees that we're still interested and are satisfied with being like a backup with that house. So we're doing that, but since we're a backup, we can still find or look for other homes. So we're still looking out there. I'm really busy with work, so it's kind of difficult to go and view houses and sort of have like a flexible time with that. But I mean, we're just going to be patient really, and then see what happens. Our lease is almost up here. So we might, I don't think we'll go month to month because it's more expensive. So we'll probably renew maybe, and then maybe have someone rent this place while we move to.
That's a great idea. Any specific area that you're?
Well, we want it around like the Westerville area.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be in Westerville, but it can be around it. Just something that's convenient and like minutes away from Easton and then Polaris, because that's where our jobs are located.
Right.
So we want something that's accessible like that. and then maybe like past Morse Road in Cleveland, somewhere around there, is fine as well. But I got pre-qualified for 190K.
Wow.
So it's not really going to be a sort of a convenient to look for this area because they're like from 200 up.
Right.
So I really can't make offers to them because they're going to be looking for more.
Right. It's not within your price range.
Yeah. And it's going to be like my first home. So it's not really, I'm not looking for like the most beautiful and stuff like that. I am looking for something good, but I'm not expecting the best.
Right.
So the person I was talking to is going to send like some things from Grove City or was sending homes. And I'm going to be moving with my parents as well. So,
right.
Because they're going to be helping as well with the rent and stuff.
Yeah, it's funny.
But they don't like that area.
Oh, they don't?
They don't like it because it's far. And it's far from everything else.
Okay.
And they're used to like this.
Right.
Yeah, being everything close and then just this area in general. But I've already like talked to them even today and told them that, it shouldn't be really much of a problem if we like the house and they're a little bit cheaper because the ones in Grove City look like the ones here. They're just cheaper.
Right.
So we have more of a opportunity to find some that's better looking and then not as expensive as the ones here.
Right.
But yeah, we're in that process, and then I felt like there might need more money, so I got another job. I started at another restaurant that's like 2 minutes away from the cheesecake.
You already started, or you're starting?
I started.
Oh, really?
I started last week. I literally went there on Thursday last week.
Yeah.
I talked to the guy, and then he said, "Come tomorrow. Just finish filling out some paperwork, and you can stay and work."
And where is this?
It's by Gemini Place.
Oh, okay. And what is it called?
Matt the Miller's Tavern.
Matt the Miller's Tavern.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna have to come there a couple of times.
Yeah. I don't know what the price range of the food is really.
The price points, yeah.
Yeah. Right now they're only open for like the afternoon shifts. Or afternoon. So it's 3, I think. 3 to 10. And then on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I don't know. I think it's from 3 to 11. But a lot of people don't go in like... If we close at 10, they don't go like at 8 or 9. It's usually the guys that are still in the restaurant are people that went in before and they're just staying there longer.
Right.
But that job is really easy compared to cheesecake.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, and how...
I'm getting paid more.
You're getting paid. I was just about to ask you, how's the pay rate? Is it?
Yeah.
That's
I'm
good.
getting paid like 25 cents more.
Yeah.
But what I'm doing there compared to what I do at the cheesecake, it's so much easier.
The workload is just...
Yeah. So the first day I went, I got trained, and the lady that was there, she literally just showed me like once everything, and then she went over there and helped and left me just there.
Just there, yeah.
But everything is so easy to make that I was just there like by myself already, just doing everything.
Does the station look more resourceful in a sense of like everything is a little like organized and placed and set up? I
actually don't like the design.
You don't like the design of your station?
Not as much. The ones that I hate the most are the drawers. The drawers are like kind of like more inwards, and I have to like reach down and then pull, and then when I close, if I push it, it won't close all the way. I have to like give it another one. Or the first time just like hit it really hard. Yeah. So I don't like that. Then the cutting boards, they're like, the whole thing is, it's a long, like maybe like 9-10 feet.
Okay.
And then it's like really thin. I don't like it. And then for some reason, like it's not screwed on. So like for the first day I was there, I kind of like leaned on it and it like nudged forward, and I thought I broke it.
You thought you broke it, yeah.
Yeah. But she said, no, it does that.
It does that, yeah.
But I was there, like, the first day, I already knew everything, almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
There was just, like, little things that I didn't know, like, how the plating was. And one thing that was a little bit weirder for me was that they don't use the screens. How we
They don't use the ticket screens?
No, they use actual tickets.
Oh, boy.
So they print out, and then I have to look at it and then put it up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you... Yeah.
Yeah, put it up. And so I have to get used to... I'm still not a little bit used to it, but there's, like, some things... Because you get the whole entire order. In cheesecake, you just get all the things that you do. So you're not going to get... Well, actually, you do. If it's a side, you get the actual, like, big meal.
Right.
And then the side. But you know that you only make the side.
Right.
And other than that, you just make whatever.
So you're not making only sides. You are potentially making meals as well, or you're only making sides?
Yeah, meals, but it's pertain to my station only.
Okay.
I won't get something that is not from my station unless it has a side that's part of my station.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike in the new one where you get the whole entire order for that table.
Oh.
So you literally have to look and read what is yours and what is not.
Right. So
I
it's
have
not
to get used
it's
to
not
it.
isolated for you.
No,
Right.
I have to literally pick out which ones are mine and which ones are not. And then what sides they want and what kind of dressing they want, if it's to go or not.
Mm. So you're just basically identifying all the things that you need to do and then being able to do them. How is how does the energy feel in there? Did you feel any presence of...
No, it's really it's like almost all kitchens I think is fun.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when you're like with the Hispanics because they joke around and stuff. And then here it's really like chill, and like the manager doesn't like, it's not that he doesn't care, but he's not much of a guy that bothers you to do stuff a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Or is very like picky about certain things. He's very chill. Or like most of the time I'm just standing there doing nothing and making money.
Right.
So because I would just sit here and not really do nothing or lay there.
Mm-hmm.
And I've started to get motivated to work more. So so I started doing that. And then I just decided, since we're going to get a home, I felt like maybe I should just get another job just to make things easier and not feel like a big dent in our financially.
Mm-hmm.
But even with that, I think we're pretty good. But I just felt like I wanted to get another job, and it's much easier. So that makes it even better.
I know. I'm just saying that, like, I was just thinking you're taking another job to apply more hours, and you're just like working. But it turns out that it's pays a little bit more, and you get to do less. So which is great,
and it's easy. Like,
and it's easier. Yeah.
All the like items that I do, the meals, they're like really easy. They're like simple things. Like the salads, there's only like 3 salads or 4 salads, and they're really easy to make. And then it's easier when they don't want the actual dressing,
right?
Because you don't. So the cheesecake, if they want a dressing, like to substitute it,
right,
for the original, then you literally have to toss it in that dressing that they want. But if they want, like, at the new place, if they want another dressing, then you just literally make the salad without a dressing.
Wow.
And makes it so much easier.
Right.
Because I can just grab the plate, put lettuce and the ingredients on top, and just send it. It's so much easier.
Right.
And like the sandwiches, they're not even hard. Like, they're simple stuff. And then I have everything, not everything, but all the things that I need. And then if I need stuff, I just go in the cooler and then get them out. And let's see what other things. Yeah, like at the cheesecake, if you're just standing there because it's slow, the manager just grabs something and makes you do something.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Or like, even if it's not something that you do or actually are supposed to do,
trying to utilize.
Yeah, he doesn't want you to just be there and making like easy money just standing there. But here, you're just standing there. Like, so my schedule is Tuesday through Friday, which is good. I don't work weekends, busiest days, usually.
Yeah.
And then I get a easy, like, schedule.
Nice.
Basically. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays haven't been busy. Well, I've only been there for a week.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, I'm like standing there for like 2 hours, maybe getting like 2 or 3 tickets to make.
Max.
And then the rest, I'm just standing there. Oh, and then they let you eat. Like, you can grab whatever you want, make yourself whatever you want, and do whatever you want, really.
As many times as you want.
Yeah, you can just be eating fries, then getting the drinks and stuff like that. And then you're just standing there, really. The guy doesn't say, like, why are you standing there, or why are you on your phone, or stuff like that. He just look at you and not say anything at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess maybe, well, it's not like a huge demand.
I guess they really just only care that you're doing your job, and then whenever you need to do your job, then you're doing it. And if you do it fine, then there's really no problem. Mm-hmm. And I think that's fine. One guy that works there, I knew him because he worked at the Cheesecake as well. Actually, there's like 3 that work there that used to work at the Cheesecake.
Is that how you kind of got acquainted? Yeah.
Yeah, they told me that they needed someone, or they needed people. Mm-hmm. And so I decided to apply, and then I told them that I make more at my other one. Yeah. So they can give me more there. Yeah. And they were saying that I could give you this amount, but I'm going to give you like a little bit less. Mm-hmm. But if I see you like that you're working fine and then learning other stuff, then maybe like in a month or 2, then I can give you a $1 raise.
Nice. So,
and it's totally like perfect for me because I can come out from one job and then go to the next one, and it's not more intense.
Yeah. Yeah.
This Friday, it was a little bit more, but I just felt comfortable already that I wasn't really bothered by it.
And you don't feel like a lot of your, you understand a lot of your energy might be consumed working at Cheesecake for the majority of the day. But if you need to move on to the other job, you feel like you're going into a situation where the workload is a little bit easier, and you're not going to be that stressed, and you're not going to be doing activities constantly within your shift.
Yeah, and then that's what I like, really. And then if maybe for some reason I don't grab something to eat there at the Cheesecake, then I'll just eat there because you can really make yourself whatever you want, even if it's not on the menu. Mm-hmm. You want to cook something for yourself with those ingredients, you can, because they're not going to say anything.
Right.
Which is really good. But yeah, I mean, that's what I've been doing, really. Only days off are really today's, like Saturdays in the afternoon, Sundays in the afternoon, and then Mondays all day. So because I'm not really doing anything right now, then I feel like it's fine. I guess it was like a bad moment with the homes because I can't really like go view them myself. My mom just Sundays she can probably go, then she goes and looks at them because we have like a similar taste in what we want as a home. So she can look, and then if she likes it, then I know that I'm gonna like it. Just like the one that we gave the offer for. Right. I saw the pictures online and I really liked it, but she was the one that went to the open house, and then it helped me just give the offer.
That's funny. Coincidentally, last night, I went to see one of my close friends, Juan, and after I left his place, I went over and checked out the house that my parents had bought and we're building, and this is where they are right now. And so I'm just showing Mario a picture of what the house, the level at what the development is at. And so right now they're getting the foundations for the roof and done, and the garage door is pretty much visible, and the main door is pretty much visible. And when I pulled up, I was like, dude, this is a lot of progress than I expected. Yeah. And so I took the picture, went home, showed it to my mom. My mom is just like excited watching it for like 10 minutes. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty exciting. So, and it's going to be nice because I'm going to have a bigger space. My parents are allowing me to have the basement. So it's a bigger space, and I want to be able to actually set up and have a nice area. Not necessarily a computer area, but I want to get like a projector and then hang up all the artworks that I did back in college. and then
have
potentially
like your own area or corner of
yeah,
where you can show
and then potentially
like.
turn it into this space big enough to make it even like a studio. Work on different drawings, different paintings, because I wanted to do that, but I just don't like how small my room is right now, and I don't feel motivated right now either. And I think that once we move in, I will have this feeling of like starting of like a fresh, not necessarily a fresh life, but starting a new journey in a way that like I'm going to be living here, and from now on this is where my life is going to be starting every day that I wake up. And I'm excited for that. I'm excited to transform my room and make it a little bit different, and put things on the wall that inspire me, and just use that place as like a lab pretty much for myself.
Yeah, that's really good. What area is it?
So we are off like Hamilton. So if you're like 161 towards New Albany.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when you get off Hamilton Road, heading more towards the Westerville side than the New Albany side.
Oh, okay.
Of the freeway. Yeah, and so it's like right out there. And there, area. Yeah, and that it's a really new area. So
yeah, they're starting like to build other like stores and stuff like that.
Yeah,
around it.
Yeah, there in my neighborhood. There are some, like, I already have a neighbor whose house has been fully finished, so they're living there right now. And there are a couple homes in that area that already have people living there. Because I drove past and I saw. It's just like my side hasn't been. I believe that all the lands have been sold, but not all the buildings have been built. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people are in the process of getting their houses built, just like my parents have theirs. Yeah.
So you guys made your own like floor plans and stuff, or was it
so we
design that's already set and you just buy?
Right. It's a design that's already set, and so which is I thought the process is really cool because you get to customize and do add-ons. It's pretty similar to when you're buying a brand new car, and you have to determine if you want like the sport or the limited edition, what color seats you want, what texture seats you want, if you want like leather or not, if you want to have like, and this is all relating to the car, but I guess to the house, if you want certain type of windows, if you want a certain type of like door frame entrances, if you need certain type of like cabinets, certain a different set of appliances in your kitchen, and wood and all that stuff, all those
like
things,
the colors as well of what things are going to be.
Yeah, exactly, and all those things kind of factor into your I guess how much you're going to be investing or how much you're going to be charged. So, so you can make add-ons on certain, and you can make certain requests. So like for instance, if you don't want a gas stove and you want an electric stove, that could be something that you can change. But that change can also make a difference in how much you're going to be spending. So it's pretty similar like that. But I mean, I'm more excited. I was really excited and happy to see how much the house has progressed, mainly because
how long has it, or how long ago did it start?
Last month.
Last month.
Building, like getting the foundation done. Everything kind of started last month, and I didn't really expect things to be at this level that that I showed you the picture of until maybe like, I guess, October. You know what I mean?
Oh, you were imagining like the progress that is right now. You thought it was going to be like later. That on October.
Yeah, in October. But I mean, I'm excited. I can't wait to be like in that space. And there's going to be a park in front of the house too. So it's a really nice area, and it's pretty much a little bit tucked away from the freeway, but you can get to the freeway pretty fast.
Oh, okay.
Which I like and I enjoy because I mean, where we live right now, there's so much traffic, with all the major roads that are close to us. You don't really you don't really stop hearing cars.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? You don't really like factor in, you don't really pay attention to that until you're like living somewhere else. And then you're like, wow, it's a lot quieter. And then you realize, wow, I've just been kind of in a place where there's a lot of high traffic.
Yeah, that's what we felt here when we moved in. Now it's like a little more noise and stuff, and then a lot of certain people that are kind of weird or moving in, but the longer that we're staying here.
Right.
But before the first year that we rented this place, it was so quiet. Like there's nothing.
There was yeah.
No kids, no nothing. You couldn't hear any of that. Like you would just stay still and not silence.
It was peaceful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that when people moved over here, it wasn't peaceful. It's just like more people, more activity.
like compared to, because we moved a lot as a family a lot. So we would be in this place and then we would be another place the following year. That's why, like, going through like school, I would switch and flip flop.
Right.
Not constantly, but there was like a time when it was just like I went to 3 different middle
schools. Wow. Yeah.
So that was like really, it wasn't challenging, but it was just the way we were just bouncing back and forth. So we had like experience of moving in, and then sometimes we wouldn't like rest enough,
right,
because of certain aspects. Or my mom, because she's a very light sleeper, so anything like really like wakes her up.
Wake her up, yeah.
Yeah. So when we first moved into this place, then she slept
like a
baby.
The
best. Well, not like, she doesn't like that term actually.
Oh, she doesn't like,
because she's saying that she says that babies actually don't sleep.
Oh, well, that's a good point.
Yeah. But yeah, she slept really well, and she enjoyed just the quietness of this whole entire like community that they have here. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it, right? For this week, or not this, the following, like
the past few days. Past few days, yeah. And then so now we're gonna dive into a little bit more of what's happening right now. And then you mentioned something about a boy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first, I guess we can talk about the boy. I didn't really pay much attention to it because I saw it like maybe 3-4 days ago on Twitter, and it was like a boy that was trending. I think his name was Cannon, something like that. And all I saw during that day was just that some kid got killed or something by somebody. I didn't know like a race or anything, or like what circumstances caused that to happen. And then yesterday, some guy that works with me at the Cheesecake, I have him as a friend, and he posted something on Facebook, something about, why aren't you saying white lives matter, or all lives matter right now, or something like that?
To you, or he was posting?
Just posting something.
He was posting.
And it caught my attention.
Oh, okay.
Let me actually pull it up so I can.
So did he like post that on his profile, and then, or was he sharing?
It was like on his feed. I guess he was saying something. Because you can post whatever you're thinking and what you're doing and stuff.
Right.
Okay. Let me... It's somewhere on here. Oh, okay. So it's like it's a image. It says "Why Lives Matter," and it says "Justice for a Cannon," shot in his head riding his bicycle. Oh, in this picture, I got more context. Shot in his head riding his bike by a black man just because being white. Well, that image is not really that well, or it does not
fully.
It's not
tell
something
the story.
And it's implying that race was involved.
Right.
But then if you like shares it and then makes a comment. Taking a child's life is cowardly. Where was White Lives Matter when a sheriff in Columbus took that white boy's life? Where was White Lives Matter when SWAT killed that white dude in a hotel? What about the white boy who died from purchasing weed? Y'all are only saying this because the suspect was black. If this kid would have died by the cops, y'all wouldn't have been silent. Or you would have been silent.
Right.
Y'all would have demanded justice, so I'm just gonna say all children's lives matter, not just all of them, not just one,
right,
but all of them.
Right.
Trying to make this a race war, basically implying that now people are saying white lives matter and stuff like that because the individual was black. So I guess he didn't like that aspect because he's showing like sort of a hypocrisy, because you're saying this now, but when all this other stuff happened, you weren't saying it.
Right. And I think that's part of the reason why there is a little bit of a division, because there are some people who are only reacting to certain scenarios more than other. And for most people, when they're judging situations and they're looking at a situation where somebody is getting like abused by police or anything like that, I think most people are starting to realize that this is a problem that is like wrong in America, versus just like in a sense like in a sense people are like isolating certain instances that are happening in society, and then they're like, well, this shouldn't be happening, so it should be like all white lives matter, in a sense, where I think in a broad sense, everybody would like everybody to be living in a peaceful world. You know what I mean? There are some people who are alive don't want to be living in a peaceful, inclusive world, in which would happens to be the racist people. And this is why I think there's a difference. There's a big difference between the racist people and how they believe the world should be, versus how everybody else would like the world to be. I think everybody else would like the world to be just inclusive and peaceful, and then the racist people want the world to be a world without everybody else except them, which it's kind of really impossible to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like wrong. In the fact that like there are many people who have interacted with multiple cultures, and people are able to marry somebody from a different culture and all that stuff. I think that it's very clear that human beings should be all living together and can live all together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But the reason that I didn't really like it, because you can really apply that same thing to Black Lives Matter.
Right.
You just changed the flip 'em.
Right.
And I felt like that was like a hypocritical thing for someone to say. And because he's been really like vocal about Black Lives Matter and stuff like that.
Right.
And at work he wears masks that have like the Black Lives Matter logo, and then with the fist.
Right.
And then recently I just saw one that says I can't breathe. But I just didn't like that hypocrisy, really. And then him saying that people are saying all white lives matter, or or that I haven't really seen anywhere.
Right. I don't really see that.
Yeah.
I see the blue lives matter.
Yeah. And I don't see any like white lives matter. Right. So I felt like, why are you talking about it if I'm not seeing it, and I'm constantly
like trying in like
not looking for it, but I mean, I get basically everything on like social media, so I would see it at least once, but I haven't seen any of that until that image that he shared. But maybe he's just looking for those types of images and then finds them for some reason. Yeah, because I'm not getting them on my feed, so like maybe there's something.
It's just strange. I mean, a lot of people just create a lot of images, and I'm suspecting this kid is real and what happened is real, but there have been times.
Explain a little bit.
But there have been times where I've seen images surfacing on the internet and trying to, especially if that person did something wrong, and some of the images, there are images like that look kind of like the person doing some kind of like act, and then you later on find out that like either that image wasn't real, it was somebody else. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. A lot of people sort of just immediately start believing things they see on the internet, whether it's an image or some kind of like writing, and you never really know if somebody's fabricating that stuff or that thing is real. And it's difficult to be able to. Sometimes it's difficult to be able to tell the difference because of how these things are presented. Sometimes they look very real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this news in particular. So I went in and looked it up actually. So I guess the little kid was riding his bike, and the guy didn't like him riding his bike around like his sort of property.
This was the black guy. He didn't like that the little white kid was riding his bicycle on his property.
Yeah. And so the guy, he like basically just walks up to him and then pulls out a gun and then points it to the little kid's head and shoots.
Wow.
5 years old.
Wow.
And like, as I was reading, I was like, what? Like what kind of person just walks up to a kid and shoots him in the head just for like being there?
Right.
I was just very sad, really.
Yeah.
Because that's like somebody's little kid and who's not really doing anything.
Right.
And you're like ending his life for no reason.
And I work with a lot of kids, so I can feel like how you feel about it now, because there are a lot of kids, and it's funny enough. I teach a class of, it's called foam ball, and it's the tennis ball, but it's the really soft tennis ball. We actually use a red ball, which is a little bit different, but they're like 5 and 6 year olds, man, and they've gotten pretty naughty and not listened, but there are a couple of kids in the group that have started calling me daddy and they just point to me with their little fingers. 5 and 6 year old boys and girls just pointing in my face and calling me daddy. And I'm just like, I'm not your daddy, I'm the tennis coach. And they wouldn't stop. It's hilarious because the more I tell the little kids to stop calling me daddy, they keep calling me daddy. And then they just start getting more louder, and then like they're screaming daddy, like I just came back from work and they're excited to see me and they're like daddy. I'm just like, what? But it's you're laughing, and that was exactly what I was doing, because I couldn't get them to focus. I couldn't get them to do anything else. Like if I told them to stop saying daddy, they'll just start saying daddy. And then the louder they got, the more, and they thought it was funny. So when one kid starts laughing and the other kids thinks that what's happening is funny, everybody starts calling me daddy.
That's funny.
Yeah. And it's funny because at one moment I look at one of the kids dead in the eye for a couple of seconds and was silent, and I was like, do not call me daddy. And she stares at me in the eyes, and then she points to me with her little index finger, and she's like, daddy. And I'm like, okay, well, nobody's listening today, so I guess we're not learning how to hit the tennis ball. But no, that's been sort of my highlight. That's one of the funniest things that's happened to me teaching tennis. It's just little kids. And then this psychology in me is just like, I need to figure out a way to have them stop saying daddy.
Bro, I'm just like,
you would have just left. No, but so then whenever they call me daddy, I would start saying mommy. And then I'll just they'll go daddy, and I'm like, no, mommy. And then they will not say daddy, because for some reason they're like, we know you're trying to get us to say something else apart from daddy, and because for that reason we're gonna keep saying daddy. So they scream daddy, and I'm like mommy, and then they scream daddy again, and I'm like brother. And then one of the kids gets really confused, and I was like, okay, I think I might have an opportunity to distract.
How many kids are there?
There are 5 of them.
5? Just 5?
Just 5 kids, but they sound like an army of kids when they're screaming daddy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just going daddy, 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 daddy. I'm like, and whenever I tell them to stop, it just keeps getting worse. So
that's funny.
That's.
But yeah, like kids don't. they're like that example that you're saying. They don't like really understand that concept of sort of listening to certain things or wanting to do something that's contrary.
Right.
And like those are just things that kids do. And then maybe in this situation, that the guy told him not to, like, be in his property, and he probably didn't register it as
a kid being a kid, not listening.
Yeah. And he probably just kept riding his bike, and
I know
it's just something that you don't expect to happen in a normal day, really.
Right. And you don't expect to hear about something like this happening.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of things that happen in America that I've been living here that I didn't realize. It's just like that, not necessarily crazy, but out of the sorts. Like school shootings. Mm-hmm. You know, back in Ghana, I never heard of a school shooting before, or of the idea that somebody was so angry about school or their classmates, or for whatever reason they are choosing to, like, go to the school and start shooting people.
Yeah.
I never really. It's difficult, but I couldn't never grasp the idea of like any of my friends being that upset about school and coming there and just like trying to end everybody else's life. You know what I mean? But that's like I'm saying, that's another thing. Living here, I've been exposed to things that are kind of out of sorts, like a 5-year-old kid getting shot by a man on a bicycle, somebody going to an elementary school and shooting up the whole school. It's just, it's really, a lot of it's really surprising, but it's also really upsetting at the same time, especially as we're getting older and we're in our early 20s. You know what I mean? I plan to have kids at some point, and so it's for as much as I've been living right now, it's really difficult sometimes to be able to feel confident that if I have kids in the future, they're going to be able to experience an enjoyable life. You know what I mean? But whenever I have that thought, I remember a video I saw about Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he made a very very smart comment, intelligent comment about how we should view the future and be hopeful. And he was mentioning that we shouldn't be scared, or we shouldn't decide not to have kids as we're getting older right now, because we don't know who's going to be the next kid that's born that's going to be able to save the world, and we don't want to deprive humanity, or I guess humans, of the chance of having somebody like that being born and be able to like change the whole world for us.
Yeah, that was a video that you were saying.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think
I saw a tweet also. I don't know if it was from him, but now that I see it, I think it was him, and it pertains something to kind of being against abortion or something like that.
Yeah. Somebody had asked him about how his view on abortion is.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, I can't remember his response specifically to that, but I just remember the response he made about us being hopeful and not being deciding basically encouraging people to just try and live life, even though at this moment it seems like maybe life isn't going to be worthwhile because of how many crazy things are happening. But he's saying that like we should not decide not to have kids because we don't know which kid is going to be able to save the world, like I mentioned. And I think that's really cool, and there's some truth to that, considering we've had a lot of really interesting political figures, public figures like Gandhi and the Dalai Lama and people like that who are just humans that nobody knew they were going to be able to speak a lot of truth and have a lot of power in the way they talk and tell people about life and stuff like that. No one ever knew that those people will ever be born and become these great human beings. Mm-hmm. But basically saying that we could have the opportunity to keep having moments where we have great human beings like these people if we decide that we're not going to be brave enough to be having kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's all my thoughts when I saw that news article. But I mean, we'll move on to
right. So as things are starting to change and time is, I guess, running out until election, we just recently learned more about who is going to be running for presidency and vice presidency. And so recently announced that Joe Biden announced that Kamala Harris is going to be his running mate. And I've been paying attention to the news about what she's about. So I saw like a 20-minute video on YouTube where Trevor Noah talks a little bit about her history and where she comes from and what kind of jobs she has taken upon and her accomplishments before she's gotten to this position where she's been selected to be running against Joe Biden. And I really enjoyed learning about her and her intensity and her focus, her ambition, her drive, her more of like her ambition to like really make the world a better place. Because I saw a couple of videos of her interacting with certain senators in I guess, I'm not sure what to call it specifically, but she's in a room filled with other political figures, and they're going through a hearing, and she's asking questions about a specific case, and I really like loved the way that she was asking these questions directly to people that she can clearly tell that have been able to use their power to do really bad things, and she's questioning them in a way that she knows that they can really get around the answer and give like a bullshit answer. You know what I mean? And so like after watching her history, what she's been involved in, and the kind of person that she is, then I saw two videos, one from Trevor Noah's YouTube and then the other from
who's Trevor Noah?
Trevor Noah is the African comedian from South Africa. Ever heard of him?
No.
So
I thought he was like just a guy that covers news.
Well, his career basically started off in comedy. So he's a stand-up comedian. He's just versatile and has the ability to be a host. So he's the host for The Daily Show. Do you know The Daily Show?
No, I don't know.
No? Okay.
I don't know most of the shows. Really.
Do you know Stephen Colbert?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Stephen Colbert is like the guy that makes like the satire and stuff like that. Okay. So like Trevor Noah took his job. And so now
does Trevor, that and The Daily Show?
Right. So Trevor Noah does The Daily Show and he does like the satire and consumes like all the media about like Trump.
Okay.
And then when you see like I guess the media that really like makes fun of Trump, like this is like these two are like really ripping him apart. Okay. And it's hilarious and accurate in the way that they talk about how he reasons about his reasoning for saying certain things and stuff like that. But in a sense, I really enjoyed what I learned about Kamala Harris and how strong of a woman she is. And even more importantly, I really like that she doesn't have not necessarily like anything hasn't been found about her history or like anything that they can use to attack her per se.
Something like a scandal.
Like a scandal or like some kind of
thing that might like affect the view from the people. Right.
And instead, what I've been seeing is Trump just calling her a mean person. She's like he's describing her as a mad woman and a mean mad woman because
that's what he said.
Yes, he said he called her.
I don't know why. Wait, I follow Trump, but for some reason, I don't get anything from him.
Oh, you didn't see it?
I don't get a feed.
Okay, I mean we can pull it up at some point, but
okay.
He just describes her as a mean, mad woman. And I'm like, really? You call Joe Biden Sleepy Joe and you couldn't figure out. And I'm not saying that I would want to see him insult this woman, but I feel like in this situation, like he doesn't
have much to like go off.
Yeah, exactly.
And because we haven't seen much of her, but he just probably thought of like the simplest thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a little kid would say.
Yeah, and then the reason why I think it's funny is because that's exactly what Trevor Noah was saying, in a sense of like, and that's why I was mentioning that she's new and she's exciting, and there isn't much known about her that could be used against her in that sense, and that's why I'm excited to see how things kind of turn out. And I watched an interview between Joe Biden and Trevor Noah, and Joe Biden had mentioned and explained why he had decided to have her be his running mate. But he also made really good, important points that I really like to hear. He mentioned that the people know who he is, and I like that he was talking about how he knows that people have known certain things about him that are not right. But he mentions that, and what I think that makes him a little bit more mature is the fact that he mentioned that he knows that people know things about him that he knows are wrong, that he's done in the past. But he also mentioned that he's a different person, and he knows that those things were wrong, and he's not saying that people should forget those things, but he's also saying that he has done those things, but he's moved on and tried to be a better person. You know what I mean? And I think that says a lot. I mean, this could be like a simple political scheme or strategy. You know what I mean? But there is some truth to like what people say. You know what I mean? I feel like sometimes when you say something so much, even though you're lying, you might start either believing the lie, or if you say something else, then you might start believing it for the amount of times you say it. You might lose touch of reality and be like, do I really like this thing or not? You know what I mean? But
like I haven't been paying much of attention with that because whoa because dang, we're all
yeah, you haven't. You say you haven't been paying that much attention about what's going on.
No, with concerned with Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
All I was saying, like people were saying, were like negative stuff about her. But I think it's because I follow like most of the
Republicans, or no?
I guess some of them. They're more towards leaning there. Yeah, that's kind of my like info. So I think they were like picking on stuff about her,
right?
And then like saying pulling up stuff that she would say before and then be against then the following time,
right?
And then her just like backtracking or insulting certain things about certain people, and then now here she's supporting like, or being part with Joe Biden. So
right.
Before then, she was insulting him and saying certain things like policies that Joe Biden might put in place, like that favored or were against like certain demographics.
Right.
And like before, when Joe Biden was starting his career or getting more experience, stuff that he was for during that time, because way back then people were having like a different view on things. They were more racist and stuff like that.
Right.
And
they just had like kind of sort of strict, very linear
and
views.
Joe Biden was just supporting these things that now would be considered bad. And so Kamala Harris was just saying that if I was living during this time when he was supporting stuff, I would have been like someone that was going to be suffering through that.
Right.
Because she's African American, right?
Yeah.
So now she's supporting him and sort of being a hypocrite herself.
Right.
And there's a video on YouTube. It's have you heard of Ben Shapiro?
Ben Shapiro. Yes, I have heard the name.
Yeah.
I've been hearing his name a lot.
Yeah.
I just haven't really sat down and looked him up and see what he's all about and what he's involved in. But
yeah, he's mostly like known for debating.
Okay.
Then,
does he podcast or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I figured.
Sometimes I consume the content, and so basically, he was just pulling out like a certain like things that Kamala Harris has said before, and basically judging like Joe Biden made like a poor decision with going with her, because she's has like certain qualities that a lot of people don't really like, and so he felt like it wasn't like much of a good a way to go for Joe Biden, because maybe he could have pulled someone that was more exciting and then knowing more things about it. And he showed videos and stuff that backed up his examples and stuff like that.
Right.
But and Kamala Harris, I mean, I don't really know much about her, besides like certain things that she liked and didn't, policy wise. But maybe I should look up and
when you get a chance,
other stuff.
Yeah, because
maybe she might be something that boosts more votes for Joe Biden. Right. If people are looking for that, or wanting Joe Biden to be the winner, even if I don't think it's like a good option compared to Donald Trump as well. So I guess a lot of people who maybe were like in the middle and didn't know where to go exactly, then from there, maybe they might go out and vote more and stuff like that. Yeah. But I mean, Joe Biden isn't really that great, I think, now, because he's getting a little bit older.
Yeah, he's pretty old.
He's just sometimes spitting out nonsense or not knowing where he is most of the time, and then saying it's a joke.
It looks like, man, he reminds me of like a really old grandpa. Just be taking.
Well, that Bernie Sanders is more of a grandpa.
Yeah, but like Joe is like the grandpa like that does cycling and hangs out, like goes golfing and hangs out with his grandchildren, goes maybe plays a little bit of tennis. It's funny because there's actually a picture of him like going on a bike ride with his family, just like in the middle of the day with his mask on. But no, so with all these things happening, I was just paying attention to that kind of stuff. So I mean, I'm really excited to see how things turn out. I mean, this is where we're experiencing history right now, and hopefully we don't have another 4 years of Trump. But it all depends on
why is that certain specific things that you don't want to happen again, or maybe certain policies that he got through his 4 years, or the environment, or what exactly is that doesn't.
I just think that when it comes to representation as a country, I think that it even and you've talked a little bit about like how there's this theory about the president being just like a puppet, and he gets to just like, I would rather have not saying a better looking puppet, but a puppet that would speak with more clarity, would be a little bit more intelligent and have the sense of the fact that like they're the president of the United States and they can say certain things about certain groups of people, and in a sense like learn how to address and communicate with people a little bit better, and I think they should be a model. They should try and model a lifestyle where people who are in power aren't attacking other people that are not in power. I think that's something that's really important for the country and the people that are living in the country to see, because I mean, a lot of people would say, well, Donald Trump doesn't wear a mask, why do I need to wear a mask? You know what I mean? And if you are living in a society where most people follow what the authority figure does, then you just like, you might be like, well, like I said, if Donald Trump is not wearing a mask, why do I need to wear a mask?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's important for kids that are growing up in this country to be able to see a political figure that represents something that is a little bit unifying. You know what I mean? I feel
represent unification.
Represent unification. You know what I mean? Because this country has been divided for so long, and we need somebody that's like in the forefront, communicating and letting people know where he stands on certain things. Like I feel like I've heard and I've seen videos of maybe reporters asking specifically Donald Trump his views or his what he feels about people that are racist that are in like support him. You know what I mean? And I haven't really gotten a straight up answer. I haven't really seen a straight up answer where he would mention that he does not condone any of that. Okay. You know what I mean? And like if you don't, then you should just say that you don't. No, and I think part of it's because like I'm not saying that I want to be the type of person that advocates for forcing somebody to say something, but I think that in his position in the world, you got to be able to say that, like, if you're not racist, that you're not racist and you don't support any of these racist people or accept that kind of behavior. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Could it be that he just thinks that he shouldn't say it because... or like pay much attention, like if you're saying that he's racist, and then him having to go out and say that he's not,
right? You
think he's the type of person that does that sort of things because he doesn't really care what other people his opinions are really, so even if he knows that he's not racist, he feels like he doesn't need to tell people that he's not racist,
right?
And I think that sort of trait that he has probably doesn't fit well with other people because they actually want answers.
Yeah, I mean, people actually want answers, but also people want to know what this leader is about, like specifically. You know what I mean? There's so many things that a lot of people don't know specifically about him in the way that he behaves. When it would just bring a little more clarity if there was like if people knew a little bit more about him and why he decides to say certain things or act in a certain way. You know what I mean? It's really important because I think that like whenever I would watch Obama on the TV, I felt like, and I was listening and I could like the way he was speaking and communicating and talking about what he was talking about, I could tell that he's like speaking with clarity. He's speaking with intelligence. He's speaking to you to make you understand the situation that's happening specifically. And if there are any questions that are asked of him, he's able to answer the question in a way that the answer, like, the answer is the answer to the question versus like how is it that easy that like Donald Trump could be having all these questions asked to him and then he just gives a completely off topic answer. Like you don't have to be like, I'm not like this comes to the part where I was saying he's like necessarily qualified because you don't have to go to college to be able to answer some of these questions that they're asking of him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like in a way that like it answers the question.
Yeah.
That's it.
He just doesn't like do anything about it. He just doesn't really care.
Yeah, like for example, when the Obamagate thing came up, and there was a reporter that asked him what the Obamagate was, and then he responded by saying, "You know what the Obamagate is," even though nobody knew what it was. Like nobody knew what it was.
But I think he was being sarcastic. Like, do you know what it is?
Like, yeah, like it, but even okay, so if let's say that he was being sarcastic, fine. But after the sarcasm, did he answer the question?
No.
You know what I mean? So then like
he... Oh, wait, he did it. I thought he did answer it. Or maybe he answered it in a way that he answered... Like being negative towards Obama, but also not positive.
Right, but he didn't, like, let's say that, like, if Obamagate was a real thing, and people had asked him what Obamagate was, And if it was a real thing, maybe he should have said, well, this is a case involving this country and Obama and blah, 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 blah. And more information is out there if you want to look up at it, like look it up and know about it. But he doesn't give any type of detail about what this thing is about. And so now it's kind of like open, because what if somebody just goes online and just puts out something about Obamagate that's not real, and then you go look it up, and then you read it and you're like, oh, so that's what Obamagate is, but maybe it's not. Maybe somebody heard Trump say Obamagate and then picked up on that, and he's like, well,
that's
Trump,
a good catchphrase.
Right. So that's the new catchphrase. I heard him say it. I don't know what it is, but I could make it into something because nobody knows what it is yet. You know what I mean? And I can just make Obamagate whatever it is. And I think that's one of the things that keeps surprising me about him, and the fact that like he was able to get into office. And we've talked about how his popularity pretty much and the way he was able to do his campaign made him popular enough to be able to get into that position. Yeah. And he's very visible, and his catchphrases and colors that he uses just like stand out with like his MAGA hat and stuff like that. But I mean, I would really like to see a country where the person that is running the country not specifically, but some of the way they communicate and mannerisms and stuff like that should be able to represent somebody that's like in this really high level position. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to go to your job in the future when you have a really good job and your boss has no clue how anything works in his company. You know what I mean?
Michael Scott.
Yeah.
Michael
Scott and
Office.
The Office. Yeah. Like you would just be like, so like how is he able to hold this position and be able to make this much money and make decisions when he can't even answer a simple question like that? You know what I mean? Yeah. And so and then I think it's also important to be able to see political figures that have been educated and know how to be in a position like being the president of the United States, because it also reinforces the narrative that people should be going into positions in power because they can do it, not because somebody's putting them there. You know what I mean? I mean, there are a lot of people that get jobs because they have somebody that is either in a company that they're interested in looking at, so that person can communicate with them and tell them maybe this position is available. But even if your friend tells you this position is available, they're probably telling you because you're qualified to do it. And if you're not qualified to do it, it will make you kind of look bad, because if I'm working in the same company and you're not capable, if you're not qualified to work at my job, and I get you hired, it's going to make me look bad. First of all, it's because I'm bringing somebody in that's not going to be able to progress our business. But on top of that, it's not really helping you because you're not even qualified to be able to do this anyways. So maybe you'd be able to pick up and get better at it, but you're coming in not knowing what to do. And so like it puts both of us at a position where either you're like a really good employee and you can pick up on this and then we can start moving on, or you don't know what you're doing and we have to spend time and money to be able to train you. And that, I think that we all go through a system where the person that is usually above us, a position 1, 2, or 3, we can see that they know how to hold that position. Like I don't think you ever want to walk into the cheesecake, like let's say there's like a huge managerial meeting for cheesecake and you ever attended, and then whoever's running, I guess, cheesecake for Ohio shows up and he's just like completely unprofessional and saying a bunch of like bullshit. Like you just be like, this doesn't seem like it should be because of how the branding of Cheesecake Factory. You know what I mean? Like it's not some place where you just go and like cheesecake is not like a place where you can go and get like a nice, easy, cheap meal. You know what I mean? When I go in there, like you have to look through the menu a couple of times, see what you're looking at, how much you want to spend and stuff like that. And in that case, that's what makes the brand a little bit different, I guess, sort of exclusive in a way. But like because of the brand is associated with that, you probably want to see the CEO or whoever owns Cheesecake to be behaving or communicating in a certain professionalism. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm mentioning that I don't really want to see another 4 years of Donald Trump, even if he's a puppet, because he doesn't really. I don't think he's a good model for the kids that are growing up. Even whether his and even for the sake of the fact that like maybe some of his policies are really good or not, I think more people just like pay attention to the kind of person he is more than what he's done for the country. Like everything that really comes out about Donald Trump is certain things like behaviors. Most people don't really spend the time to go look for his policies and figure out what they are, because most people don't really like. They feel that like that there's a disconnect between the people and the government, anyways. Yeah, you know what I mean. So
I think that's it for this episode. I'm not sure how long it was because I can't see it, but yeah, hopefully you enjoyed a little bit of what we talked about. Yeah, it was more like a catch up, like of what was going on in our life right now, and then talked a little bit of 2 little current events that had happened during the past week. But hopefully you enjoyed, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right.